Hybridization, Traditional Chinese Courtyard Houses and Contemporary Design by Li Han from Virginia Commonwealth University in Qatar. The purpose of this research is to examine hybridized design methodology through the redesign of the Chinese courtyard house. In recent years, various design disciplines and design elements from different periods and cultures have converged, adding knowledge, variety, and originality to design. There are numerous design precedents of combinational design. Nevertheless, it is largely unclear how hybridization has been affecting design process and creativity. Will a hybridized design generate more originality? How can this methodology be implemented? Given our complex living conditions, will crossbreeding in design provide more adaptive solutions? These questions can only be answered through design projects which intentionally employ hybridized design methods. For example, here are some artworks made by a Chinese artist, Li Han, that clearly demonstrate hybridized design thinking, combining Western symbols and logos with Chinese porcelain. Here are two designs by Chinese Muslims that combines the Chinese roof and pagoda with Islamic minarets and domes. As Mark Ranko has said, the generative capacity of the human brain may specifically result from combinatorial processes. What causes us to create hybrids? There are many influences: the products we use, the food we eat, or the television shows we watch from other countries and cultures. We all know what a hybrid is. Almost everything we encounter in life is a hybrid. Therefore, the definition of a hybrid is not important. What's significant is the creative process, how hybrids are formed. The research I'm engaging in has 4 steps. My work has so far been steps 1 and 2, formulating research problem and collecting data, which includes self-initiated courtyard projects. The last step is to evaluate whether hybridization fosters creativity. In order to evaluate, we need to understand what creativity is. Many researchers have contributed to this topic, such as Wallace, Torrance, Sternberg, Osborne, and Parnes. The areas they studied include creative process, mental characteristics, creative resource, and creative problem solving. Yet, unlike many phenomena in science, there is no single authoritative perspective or definition, nor is there a standardized measurement technique. Nevertheless, a growing number of scholars believe that there are methods of increasing the creativity of an individual. Can it be hybridization? Today, the living conditions for many are very complex and diverse. It is a cross-fertilized environment. To some degree, all 6 resources defined by Sternberg, which includes intellectual ability, knowledge, style of thinking, personality, motivation, and environment, have been influenced by the living environment. Given the world we live in today, some may argue that hybridization is an intrinsic component of any creative process. The internet has shaped the world into a global village. In the cultural domain, the demarcation of regional, national, and international is diminishing as a result of cross-pollination. Hybridization is happening in every aspect of people's life. Nevertheless, it is necessary to further investigate the intentional design process. What if designers intentionally mix and mingle ideas? Hybridity was also studied by scholars in social science. Homi Bhabha was one of them. Despite being criticized for using indecipherable jargon, I found this quote of him to be understandable. The hybridity of tradition does not compromise the creative originality of a culture. It enhances the ability of an artist or a craftsman to find forms of expression and representation that resonate across different cultures, thereby expanding the scope and the scale of communication and creativity. The rest of this paper talks about data collection. Several years ago, I started a project called Fashion and Furniture. It blends fashion and furniture. This piece of furniture behaves like a garment. It can be redecorated according to the season and mood, just like a garment to a person. It can also be taken apart and reassembled and be transformed by moving parts. I then progressed to a project called Furniture Beyond Furniture, which intentionally hybridizes furniture and the others, glass, fabric, and neon lights. Now I'm working on a project called Traditional Chinese Courtyard Houses and Contemporary Design. This project is intended to provide a solution using hybridized design methodology to the dilemma occurring in central Beijing of whether or not to renovate or demolish the old courtyard houses. The courtyard houses in Beijing has a long history. Today, most of them were built in the Qing Dynasty and the Republic of China period. After the earthquake in 1976, due to the shortage of housing, many city developers began to build messy additions using any building materials they could possibly find. The condition of courtyard houses depends on the ownership. If the whole courtyard belongs to a single family, it is normally kept in very good condition. If the ownership is shared, it is normally in disrepair. Here is a brief history and background of ancient Chinese architecture. In ancient China, buildings were constructed with wood. What is remarkable about Chinese architecture is the sophisticated interlocking wooden supporting system underneath the roof. It is called dougong. 营造法式, edited by Li Jie, was published in 1103 AD, which describes this dougong system in detail. Like many other ancient cultures, the ancient Chinese believed that certain symbols could safeguard the house. It is common to have a pair of stone lions on either side of the gate. The privacy and the location of an entrance were very important. The ancient Chinese believed that the best qi came from the southeast according to Bagua. Therefore, the entrance was always located at the southeast corner. Privacy was achieved by having different quarters, with the guest house by the entrance and the female quarter located at the back. Each design element's function, form, material, cultural identity consists of unique characteristics which are defined as design genes. Much like natural science research, the hybrid approach focuses on manipulation of design genes. The treatment for design elements might be bend, twist, merge, dismantle, and wave. They can be applied to anything which has a physical form. However, the treatment for the function or cultural identity have to be interpreted and applied in more abstract ways. So far, I've done 2 projects. In the case of Chinese courtyard houses, there are 2 groups of design genes, the local and the foreign. For example, Chinese wooden structure and the roof design are defined as the local design genes. New functionality and open space are defined as foreign design genes. The goal of this project is to demonstrate how to upcycle the existing design elements so that social and cultural continuity are maintained. The new courtyard houses comprise many individual two-story houses. It is a semi-open space. The overall structure is influenced by Chinese aesthetics and the use of color, and yet it is more fluid with curved corridors and roofs, reconciliating tradition and modernity. The ridge of the roof merges with the column and becomes one design element. Comparing with the traditional roof, the new design is more dynamic and creates beautiful patterns. Inspired by the bamboo frame, which grows the grapes in the traditional courtyard house, the roof structure was extended out, which created a hollow shading to reinforce the beauty of light and shadow to allow them to interact with physical forms. The kiosk in the center of the courtyard is a hybrid by itself, taking the Chinese pattern and the basic forms of a Chinese kiosk and mingling them with contemporary design language. The juxtaposition of old and new seem to suggest that visual continuity and harmony can be achieved easily. The interior space mixes both local and foreign design genes as well. Low seating and Chinese patterns represent Chinese heritage. Open space and merging the seating, flower pot, and a lighting fixture represents foreign and contemporary. Limited by space, the second floor needed to accommodate multiple functions. Hybridization allowed the designer to easily extend the design thinking and take advantage of height where the staircase is hybridized with wardrobe and bathroom. As the design continues, a different color scheme is applied to the same design. The mood of the space has been dramatically changed after adopting the new color scheme. The hybridized quality seems to be strengthened, while the Chinese taste seems diminished. In Research Project 2, space planning moved away from a rectilinear approach and disintegrated the courtyard into 3 houses with more dynamic spatial relationships. Visual privacy is achieved by not placing windows directly facing each other. The single-sided roof has been stretched to imitate a flying phoenix. When you stand in the inner courtyard, you will see the scallops. In addition, the project was illustrated using hybridized method. The research project provided insight and visual evidence of the sensitivity of Chinese aesthetics to the modern realm. The hybridized design solution accommodated modern lifestyles while providing cultural, aesthetical, and social continuity. The foundation for evaluating projects is creativity. Given the scope and complexity of creativity, the evaluation will be a long process. A design project can be evaluated against Steinberg's investment theory or Wallace's creative process. Each evaluation will be an independent research. However, if a design project can be dismantled to the level of design genes, it can then be evaluated through the style of thinking. Nevertheless, my research has not reached the stage of evaluation yet. As I continue with individual design projects and understand hybridization more at a macro level, I then can formulate the criteria for evaluation. The research on hybridization in design encompasses a vast number of design topics. the proposed research model is only the beginning. Thank you very much.